could eat. Living with limitations, pushed down by the occupation. Wanna see the pain? Take a look at the people's faces. Imagine being kicked out of the only house you ever known. We're praying for our souls while they're preying on our homes. It's not easy to put this into words. Looking at my baby sister, is this something she deserves? Growing up in a world where she's not treated the same.
This 12-year-old MC Abdul changed the lyrics. From Gaza, his video has gone viral after performing a free verse in front of the mass destruction caused by Israeli airstrikes in Gaza City. MC Abdul wrote in the caption on his Instagram post that this past week has been very tough for his home in Gaza City, and he just want the world to know about the situation in Palestine. Music is what keeps me going, he wrote. Hello, you're watching World News from Metro Globe Networks, and we are live from Jakarta, Indonesia. And here are our top stories for tonight. Clashes erupted between anti-government protesters and security forces at Baghdad's Tahrir Square on Tuesday, with one protester dying after being shot. Cyclone Yas caused 2 deaths and damaged many homes in India. But first, a recreational plane landed safely on a Sydney beach with 3 people aboard, including a baby, on Wednesday after its single engine failed, officials said. The Tecnam P2008 aircraft landed without incident on Kalergi Beach in northern Sydney early afternoon, a police statement said. The 25-year-old male pilot, a 28-year-old female passenger, and 1-year-old boy were not injured. The pilot made a forced landing following a reported engine failure, said the Australian Transport Safety Bureau, a crash investigator. The plane appeared to land gently on the beach just above the waterline. The plane was a recreational category aircraft, and any safety investigation would be conducted by the Recreational Aviation Australia Agency. Three crew members died after a Japanese crab fishing boat and a Russian cargo ship collided early Wednesday in the Sea of Okhotsk, about 20 kilometers north of Japan's Hokkaido Island. The Japanese vessel overturned after the collision. Japan's government spokesman said the Russian cargo ship rescued all 5 crew members, but 3 were confirmed dead after arriving at the port of Mombetsu. According to local reports, all 23 Russian crew members on the freighter were safe. A firefighting helicopter with 4 people on board crashed Tuesday near an airport in central Florida, killing at least 1 person, officials said. The helicopter crashed into a marsh near Leesburg International Airport during a training exercise around 4 p.m. local time, the Federal Aviation Administration said in a news release. 1 body was recovered Tuesday night and no survivors had been found. Hours after the crash, rescue crews were still trying to get to the wreckage to see if there were any survivors, Leesburg Police Captain Joe Yossi said. The FAA and National Transportation Safety Board will investigate. Officials did not immediately release additional information. Moving on to Iraq, clashes erupted between anti-government protesters and security forces at Baghdad's Tahrir Square on Tuesday, with one protester dying after being shot. Security forces used live ammunition to disperse crowds after protesters began throwing stones, witnesses and Iraqi officials said. The shooting began after security forces used tear gas to disperse crowds. The demonstrators responded by throwing stones and on some occasions bricks at police. A police vehicle in the area was burned down by the angry protesters. Prior to the clashes, hundreds of Iraqis took to the streets to protest what they say is impunity by those behind a rising number of targeted killings of prominent activists and journalists. The semi-official Independent High Commission for Human Rights reported nearly 35 activists have been assassinated in Iraq since a mass anti-government protest movement swept Iraq in October 2019. There have been nearly 82 attempted assassinations since then. An Israeli court was on Wednesday hearing a case by Arab residents of a Jerusalem neighborhood trying to block eviction plans. A small demonstration was also held outside the court in support of the Palestinians. The hearing comes at a time of heightened tensions between Arabs and Jews following similar plans in the Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood. The dispute there helped fuel a wave of unrest across the country. One of the residents is Abdel Fattah el-Rajabi, who has been living in his house for 60 years. The truce that ended the Gaza war on Friday has so far held, but it did not address any of the deeper issues plaguing the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Police say 2 women were hit by a car while protesting a police killing in Elizabeth City, North Carolina on Monday. Michelle Morris and Valerie Lindsay, both 42, were hit by a car driven by 41-year-old Lisa O'Quinn of Greenville, according to an Elizabeth City police statement. The 2 women were peacefully protesting at about 6:45 p.m. when they were hit, police said. O'Quinn is charged with 2 counts of assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill by the use of a motor vehicle, 1 count of careless and reckless driving, and 1 count of unsafe movement. Demonstrations have been held regularly since the April 21 shooting of Andrew Brown Jr., who was killed as he sought to drive away from Pasquotank County deputies. The department said it is investigating potential aggravating factors that could result in hate crime charges being filed against O'Quinn, who remained in jail Tuesday on a $40,000 bond.
Listen, we got it on tape. Everything is good for a conviction and charge. If you want an arrest, I got the evidence. That's what I'm telling you. Calm down right now, bro. If we want the arrest, we got it.
Reverend Al Sharpton, New York Mayor Bill de Blasio, and others marked the anniversary of George Floyd's death by kneeling in honor of Floyd. Tuesday marks 1 year since George Floyd died after former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin held his knee on Floyd's neck as he pleaded for life. Floyd's death sparked worldwide protests and calls for change in policy in the U.S. Chauvin was convicted of murder and manslaughter in his death. Sharpton said the best way to honor Floyd is to pass the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act, which is currently being discussed in Washington. The path forward on Capitol Hill for the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act remains unclear, but negotiators say they've made progress and expressed optimism this week about its prospects. Coming up next on World News.